welcome to the How to Learn Anything course from Plato University, where you're going to learn the science-based tools of pro learners to accelerate your learning, remember more, and master any hard skills. These are the secret techniques they didn't tell you in school. If you're passionate about changing your life with learning, join us at plato.university to get exclusive content with every lesson. I'm your learning guide, Brandon Stover, and let's get started. All right, I'm super excited and I hope you are too. Let's get started with the course. Here's a pop quiz. Just kidding, this isn't going to be your traditional course where I drone on to you about the science of learning just so you can take a quiz at the end. Rather, this course is about giving you the tools in learning so you can take control of your life, take control of your learning, and actually apply what you learn into real life, solving problems. But before we dive into the core principles of this course and the different techniques that you'll learn, I want to first get you excited about learning. How many teachers ever did that for you in school? Got you actually excited about what you're going to learn. And to do this, we're going to use a fun technique that you can immediately apply today and improve your memory drastically. It's going to show you that our brains are kind of like muscles and that they can be trained. Because the entire point of this course is to make you realize that you can learn and adapt and become better at anything. Using these tools and techniques that I'll teach you in this course, you can learn to pick up any skill that can be applied in your life and change yourself professionally, personally, or in any way that you want. So what's this first technique that we're going to learn? It's called the method of Loci. Now keep in mind, this is more of a fun technique than a lifelong learning technique, but I want to start off with this one because I guarantee you by the end of the lesson, you'll be wowed and excited about what you can accomplish with such a simple technique in order to improve your learning and memory. What we're going to do is actually learn how to memorize a shuffled deck of cards. And this technique has been used by memory champions to memorize all 52 cards in a deck of cards in rapid time. The method of Loci is also known as the method of place because Loci means place in Latin. And this technique was popularized in the book Moonwalking with Einstein, a book that covers the story of memory competitions around the world where people with incredible memory train and compete against one another. But this technique isn't something new that we've created. In fact, it's a learning technique that has been used for centuries. For example, in Roman times, Cicero used it as a way to remember long speeches that he would give. But today, it's still one of the most used techniques for people that go into memory competitions because it's extremely effective. We'll dive further into the science behind the method of Loci later on in the course, but for now, I want you to actually learn it so you can apply it and get excited about learning. I'm going to put a link in the resources for a website called Deck of Cards so that we can practice using the method of Loci and memorizing these cards. So if we go to the website, we can see we have a deck of cards, and we can shuffle this deck of cards so that it goes into a random order. And just by clicking the shuffle button, we get to play around with a shuffle deck of cards. Now imagine that somebody shuffles these deck of cards and starts placing them out in front of you. And they ask you, can you memorize the entire order of these cards? Just look at them once, put them down, and then see if you can remember all 52 cards in the order that you see them. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Almost impossible. Well, with the method of Loci, you can actually accomplish this in about a week. However, you're not going to sit here and listen to me all week in this one lesson. So let's figure out a way we can memorize just a certain set of cards. I'm going to demonstrate to you how you can memorize right now the first 10 cards super fast. And then you can go off on your own using this technique and try and memorize all 52 cards in the deck. Now, if you're at a computer right now and you're on the website, pause for a moment and try this technique by yourself. Lay out 10 cards, try and memorize them, and then flip them back over and see if you can recall all 10 cards. All right, pause the lesson and give that a try. How did it go? Did you get all 10 cards? My bet is that you probably messed up somewhere in between unless you have a very good memory. So now let's learn the method of Loci in order to increase our memory. Now, humans are really good at spatial memory. We've evolved to identify 3D things and locations because that's how we navigated our environment as hunters and gatherers. But we're really bad at remembering weird types of data that we don't really use that often in our day-to-day life, such as phone numbers or a deck of playing cards. These are meaningless things in our head that don't really apply to our lives. Humans are also really good at connecting the dots and solving problems, especially when it's presented in a story. So how are these 2 points related to the method of Loci? Well, the method of Loci is actually called by another name as well, which is a memory palace. And a memory palace is a location that you know very well. So for example, it could be your childhood bedroom, your favorite grocery store, or your grandma's house. It's a physical location that you can imagine in your brain and know lots of details about the space. So think about one of your favorite places. Pick that location as your memory palace right now. Got it? All right. So you picked a location to create for your memory palace. Next, we want you to give meaning and create a story with our cards. As we mentioned before, humans are meaning-making machines. And so the more we can weave things together in a story, the better we're going to remember it. So to go through this example, I'm going to use the memory palace of my childhood bedroom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place each one of these cards with a story associated to that card in a different location within my bedroom. And by doing this, I'm going to use my spatial memory and my ability to weave stories together to better remember this deck of cards. So in my example, we're going to go through 5 cards. I'm going to show you exactly how this is done. So let's say I flip over 5 cards from the deck. We're going to have a Queen of Hearts, a King of Clubs, a 5 of Diamonds, a 7 of Spades, and an Ace of Clubs. So let's say my first card is that Queen of Hearts. I'm going to imagine waking up in my childhood bedroom, and I'm going to turn to my right, and I'm going to see the Queen of England standing in my bedroom, and she's going to give me a big hug because she loves me. And this will stand for the Queen of Hearts. You can see when we're making these stories, we're making something completely ridiculous that is memorable. The more ridiculous, the better. So the next card that we have is the King of Clubs. So I'm going to imagine after I get the big hug from Queen Elizabeth, I'm going to walk over to my closet, and I'm going to see King Arthur with his big sword dancing around in a disco club. And this will stand for the King of Clubs. Next, let's walk to the other corner of my bedroom where there's a window. I'm going to look outside the window, and I'm going to see 5 men kneeling down, all proposing to each other with diamonds. And this is going to stand for our next card, the 5 of Diamonds. Next, we're going to move to the last corner of my bedroom where the door is. And I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to see the 7 dwarfs from Snow White digging with shovels. This will stand for the 7 of Spades, because a spade is also a shovel. And as I walk out of my door and leave my bedroom and turn to see my bathroom, the last card we make a story for is the Ace of Clubs. And so I'm going to see Ace Ventura, the pet detective, playing golf in my bathroom with a golf club. Now, some of you might be too young to remember Ace Ventura, the pet detective. So if you've never seen it, it's a classic, and I recommend going and watching it. But that's what we're going to see in the bathroom, is Ace Ventura playing with a golf club to stand for the Ace of Clubs. So let's review our story. First thing that happens is I wake up and I get hugged by Queen Elizabeth. Next, I go over to my closet and I see King Arthur dancing in a disco club. As I walk over to the next corner of my room and look out the window, I see 5 men kneeling down and proposing to each other with diamonds. I walk to the last corner of my room, open the door, and the 7 dwarfs from Snow White are standing there digging with shovels. And finally, I turn to go into my bathroom, and there's Ace Ventura, the pet detective, playing golf with a golf club. Now, what I've just done here is create a memory palace. And although these different stories and locations within this memory palace sound ridiculous, these mental images are going to help me to remember each one of these cards and the order of the cards. I've created a connection between a storyline and physical locations in my memory palace. Now, although this is really silly, it's more memorable, and I can really identify these objects as certain things, and can continue this storyline if I wanted to remember all 52 cards in the deck. For example, I could walk down the hallway, move into the kitchen, walk through the dining room, go to the living room, walk outside, and keep going until I memorize all 52 cards in the deck. And because I've associated each card with a location and some part of a story, I could actually do all 52 cards and then remember them in reverse, because I would just have to redraw my steps through the physical location and remember each one of the vivid images that we created. Now, you may think this is crazy, but I urge you to give it a try. So based on what you just learned, go back to this exercise, shuffle the deck of cards, and pick 10 cards in a row. And spend a few minutes looking at each card and creating a vivid image, some part of a story, and embedding it somewhere in your memory palace. And do this for each one of your 10 cards. Then get up, go for a walk, play with a dog for a second, and come back and see if you can remember those 10 cards. By using the memory palace technique or the method of Loci, I bet you'll be able to remember the 10 cards very easily without having to constantly repeat them in your head, because you've created a storyline and connected the dots. See, it's been a few minutes since we created our memory palace, but I know it's the Queen of Hearts, the King of Clubs, the 5 of Diamonds, the 7 of Spades, and the Ace of Clubs, because I created this memory palace and storyline in my mind. So that's your activity today. Just try it out. create your own memory palace and try and memorize 10 cards in order. And if you want to get really extreme, try and do all 52 cards. Now we're just getting started with this course, and this was something fun to show you so that you understand the power we have in learning how to learn. But this course isn't going to be just about memory tricks like this. We're going to dive into the science, the principles, techniques, and mindsets. They're going to change your perspective on learning and help you to succeed your goals. You're going to develop a learning plan for any type of skill you want and begin the path to mastery. The goal here is to learn the foundational skills of learning so that you can master any topic in the most efficient way possible. Now, of course, there's many lessons ahead, but I promise that if you engage with these lessons and do the activities and follow along with this course, it's going to have a long-lasting effect on your learning and everything that you want to achieve in life. Because when you have a goal, you have to learn skills in order to execute on that goal. In order to learn skills, you're going to have to learn the foundations of learning how to learn. These are the skills that I've used throughout my life to achieve success. But they all came way before me and have been used by plenty of successful people in the past. These are proven techniques backed by the science of learning. And I'm so excited for you to learn them. So let's get started. Thank you for taking the How to Learn Anything course. To get everything you need to become a pro learner, including advanced resources, personal coaching, and a community of passionate learners just like you, then visit plato.university/courses/learning and join us for free. Again, that's plato.university/courses/learning. This course was produced by Plato University, where students turn passions into purpose and learn skills to change the world. Learn more at plato.university.